today's world, we are constantly surrounded by invisible threats. Every breath we take, every moment we spend outdoors, and even within our homes, we are exposed to air that could be harmful to our health. Air pollution is a silent killer, contributing to millions of deaths globally each year. It affects our children, our elderly, and even our pets. It's time we take control and start monitoring the air quality around us. So let's start creating the project. So first we will open Proteus as usual. Click on next, and finish. So we have a working window over here. Now let's add the parts one by one. First we will select our controller, that is Arduino. So let's select the Arduino board and place it over here. Next we need a sensor, that is MQ02. On OK, place it over here. We need a display device, so we'll use 16x2 LCD display. Select, place it over here. We need LED red and green for indicating hazard. So first select red LED. On OK, place it over here. Next is green LED green. Place it over here. We need a buzzer as well, so let's select that. Let's place that over here. Okay, seems like we have all the components required for this project. Except further we might require a potentiometer over here, and inductor and capacitor as well. So let's place that as well right now. So let's search for the inductor. Click on OK, and let's place it over here as well. Try to rotate this to 180 degree. And we will add a capacitor. Let's place this over here. Try to rotate it so that it is in series with the inductor. Next, what we need is power supply and ground connection. So we will go to the terminals and we will select power. Let's place it over here, and ground. Let's place that over here. We need some default pins so that we can use the name for making the connections. Zoom this a bit. Make this connection. This done. Now let's give the name for this. Name for this will be 5 volts, and this will be VCC. This will be named as ground, and we no need to give the name for this. So by default it is ground. Now let's make the connection for this as well. Done, and this goes to the pin out over here. So let's give the name for this as well, or let's place the terminal first. give the name as sensor, sorry, it should be in caps, sensor out. Okay, and let's add one more default pin and give the name as ground. We'll add one more default pin over here and make the connection and give it to the sensor move controller, that is audio. So let's give the name as A0. Okay, now we'll place the default pin here as well and keeping the name as same A0 so that we can make the connection. It's done. Now let's make the connection for this as well. Let's place the default pin here, one more over here, and one more over here. Let's rotate this by 180 degree, move a little bit, this at a 90 degree. Yes, let's place it over here. Now make the connection. Done. Now let's give the name for this. This goes to GND. This one 5 volts, and this goes to sensor out. Click on OK. It's done. I see these are overlapping, but anyways, let's not bother about that. Now we will go back to the parts again. Type potentiometer. Let's search for potentiometer, or let's just type as pot. Select this one, click on OK and place it away. Rotate this by 180 degree. One end will be connected to VCC, that is 5 volts, and another end goes to ground. So let's go back to the terminals, select a default and test over here. Okay, so this is done. Now it's time to make the connections for the LCD. So let's add default pins for this as well. Rotate this in anti-clockwise, zoom a bit, try to align this with the pin, and let's copy this. Right click, lock copy, so that you can copy the entire thing. 4 for this, and next more pins over here, and rest 2 pins for the power supply and ground. Done. Let's make the connection for this. Now let's assign the pin for this. So this I will connect to D0, D1, D2, and D3. This goes to D4, ground, D5. This one can be left idle, let's go to this. This will be 5 volts. This goes to ground. Now I will delete this. And let's add some default pin for this as well. So right click over here, make it 180 degree. Copy this as a block. Right click, copy, and paste it away. Done. Zoom a bit, make the connection. Let's give the name for this. D0, D1, D2, D3, D4, 5, D6, and D7. Click on OK and done. So we have made the connection for the LCD display. Now we need to think about the buzzer and LED display. So for that, what we will do is we will add again a default pins. So let's connect this over here as well. Done. But we have 7 pins over here, and from there we had already used say 0 to 5 for LCD display itself. So we need one more pin for the buzzer. So we will use pin number say 8. Rotate it by 180 degrees. Sorry, rotate this by 180 degrees. Make a connection. Zoom a little bit. Done. Give the name as P8. Click on OK. Now this is done. Yeah, before moving forward, I want to tell you, like, if you are practically using this hardware, for example, if you are using a LED connected to Arduino, please try to use a resistor. If you don't, that will damage your LED. So make sure you use a resistor of 480 or 470 ohms so that your LED won't get damaged. Now let's make a connection. Give the name for this. Okay, so we have completed our circuit. Now it's time to do the coding. So now let's open Arduino. So I'm not going to write the entire code because that makes the video quite lengthy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain you the code completely, and I will upload that on my website so that you can download it from there. So now let's open the code. So here is the code. First 2 lines is about the LCD display and the pin assignment. Next is about the sensor, LED and buzzer pin. So A0 is for the sensor as we made the connection. 6 and 7 is for green and red LED respectively, and 8 is for buzzer pin. Now we have one more integer of storing the data from the sensor. We had assigned or initialized that with a 0. In a setup, we assign which will the input output pins, and we set the initial values as low. Here is the LCD begin, and by default this will be the message air quality AQI alert system, and we add a 1 second delay. Next, in the loop, we are reading the data from the sensor and storing that in a sensor data variable. Next, we are displaying those values, and further we check if the value is less than 50, then the display shows the data, and the AQI is good. This is displayed on the LCD screen, and here the LED green will glow and red LED will be off, whereas buzzer will also be off. Now, when it will be on? So when the sensor data is greater than 301, which shows there is an impurity in the air. So in that case, you will see that there is a data, and also the LCD display is showing the message as AQI, that is air quality index, is hazardous, and that's where the LED will start glowing. So that's the reason we have a digital right, LED red high, and buzzer will start ringing. So we kept that as a high. We had assigned the delay of 700 millisecond, and after that it will check again in the loop. So it keeps on. Give this, compile the code. Okay, so the code compilation is done. We don't have any error. We will generate a binary file. So over here, click on export compiled binary. Click on OK. You can see now we are generating the hex file. Now it's time to go back to again Proteus. Double click on it. Select on program file, and here we will select the project hex file. So let me try to search the location or path. Double click on it. Where is my project? So I don't see it over here. So it's over here. Select the hex file, double click on it, click on OK, and run the simulation. Okay, so we have hex file for this. So click on gas sensor, click on OK, and let's run the simulation from here. Okay, so we have air quality as high, but we are seeing that green LED is glowing. But anyways, let's try to increase the value and see. Reduce the value and see. It's still the same. Yes, but let's change the pin number over here. So I had basically shuffled the LEDs, so let's give the pin name as 7 for this. Click on OK, and 6 for this. Click on OK. It's done. Now let's run the simulation and see. Okay, so now you can see the LCD display is showing as air quality index as 0, AQI is good, and LED is glowing. Now let's try to change the value over the test pin so that the sensor will display there is a particles, or say there is a polluted air around, so that it will display the alert, and the red LED starts glowing, and you can see the signals going to the buzzer, so that buzzer starts ringing over here. So let's see that how we do it. So you can see here it says AQI is hazardous, and can see there is a red dot over here. It indicates that the buzzer is ringing and the red LED is glowing. So